Hello and welcome to my video lecture on connecting your PHP project to your MySQL database. So at this point we have our data entry page, which in a browser um, looks like this, right? Um, in our PHP MyAdmin, we have created our table. The table structure is directly aligned with the data entry elements that we're going to gather on our data entry page. Everything is lowercase, just putting that out there. Everything is lowercase at this point. We go to our PHP project. We look at the names of our inputs, right? So we get the names of all our inputs. These are all lowercase. So here I have first name, last name, email, zip, and phone. And what we want to do is we want to connect this project with the MySQL database. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to use a database PHP file. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new file. Click on Source Files, New PHP file. We'll call it database.php. It's going to go into my PHP project 1. If I wanted to put it into a folder, I can put it into a folder. I'm just going to click OK, and we are going to get our blank PHP file. And I'm just going to finish it off there. I don't need any of this for now, anyway. So the way this starts off, we have to create an object. So let's take a look at that real quick. So here's the syntax of creating an object from any class. So we would use new. New is a constructor that's associated with classes. You would say I want a new and whatever the class is, and then whatever arguments that class takes to be created, and by a semicolon. In our case, we want to create a PDO object, a PHP data object, in order to communicate with the database from our PHP pages or PHP project. So here we would use the new constructor. We would create the class PDO. We would send into it a variable, and we'll set up these variables. One's going to be a DSN, a data source name, the username of the person whose permissions are going to be used to operate this PDO, and then that user's password. Syntax for setting up a data source name, this DSN, we would use a MySQL : MySQL identifies that we're going to be connecting to a MySQL database. The host is the host address, so that would equal either an IP address, or in our case it's going to say localhost, because I'm going to be using a PHP database that's on my computer. The database name, and then so that's going to be our DSN, and then this is what the code's going to look like. We're going to create our DSN. We're going to set up our username, our password, and then we are going to create our connection. So let's type that out. So we're going to start off creating our DSN. That's going to equal MySQL : then the host. So again, that's going to equal localhost, if I spell everything correctly, separated by a semicolon, and then the database name is going to equal my first, again, lowercase, and then the database name, or the DB name, sorry about that, is going to equal, what did we call it? I go back to a database, user info. No, we did the DB name already. Why did I do that? No. We did the DB name already. And that's how it ends. So there's your DSN. And again, as soon as I see that it doesn't go all the way over, that means I forgot my semicolon. So our username is going to equal root. Normally, we would have a password in here. I don't have a password on my MySQL instance, so we're not going to put that in there. So our DSN is going to look like this. So DB is typical, and that's going to equal the new, remember the constructor, PDO. And it's nice. So here in NetBeans, it gives you the structure of how to put things in. And since we did use DSN and username, we can just double click that, and that's going to bring us right in. We don't have a password and we don't have options, so we can just delete those out. And that is how we create, oh, and again, there's my semicolon. So there is our connection to the DB. So hopefully this is going to work when we run this. And I will continue this, and we will do the database connection in the next video. So I hope you learned how to set up your database PHP file that's going to set up your connection to your database, essentially opening up the pipe to your data. And we will continue this in the next video.